And we're back. Hey, Ashley.
Yeah. What's up, man? How's it go?
Nada. Doing good, doing good. What'd you get up to this week? Anything
Oh
fun?
man. Not really, but I heard that you got back. The rumor come out from Sundance not too long ago.
That is true. My first ever trip to Sundance. It was
What was that
fun.
like?
It was cool. It was interesting. It was
Yep.
just after the California wildfires. So I don't know if you heard, they almost canceled Sundance
Wait, really?
completely. Oh, yeah. Because it's all Hollywood.
I guess that does
Hollywood
make
gets
sense.
there, and they are, a lot of people lost homes. A lot of people were
Yeah.
still evacuated, but they decided to go ahead and do it anyway, and it was very fun. It's such a huge thing from what Robert Redford set out to do in the beautiful mountain-esque ski town. It's so big now that you can catch screenings in Park City and Salt Lake City.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So if you can't get into the
Dang.
screening over there, you missed the one over here, do it. Also, even if you don't get a ticket for something, there's an app and you can sign up on the wait list. And as long as you get a number, show up 30 minutes beforehand. And there's a lot of people who have a ticket, get on the thing, or they have, whatever, but they decide to go to this other screening. Or they're at dinner right now. They just did a whole like 2 blocks of shorts and they're not available. And so if those seats are open, they start letting the wait list people in. And I got in. I got in to see a
Awesome.
couple different things. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, I was there with our UNLV cohort. Getting to know a lot of the UNLV film alums. We actually caught one of the documentaries we watched is called "Come See Me Under the Good Light." So good. I have no doubt that they'll get distribution of some kind, but
What's that?
it's a documentary about someone who gets cancer and starts going through therapy,
Oh wow.
and chemotherapy rather, and it wasn't preachy. It wasn't. Um, it didn't end on a sad note. In fact, the person who it's about was at the Q&A at
Oh
Sundance.
wild.
Yeah, so Come See Me Under the Good Light, a UNLV film alumna edited the film. And so
Rock
we got on
on.
the wait list for that. We got in. Um, all in all, it was a really fun time. I saw an original Banksy up there in Park City.
Ooh.
Um, so it was a lot of fun. And now
What an
everyone
awesome
knows that
adventure.
I've been. I can stop saying I've never been to Sundance. Well, this time I
It's been
have, and hopefully next time it won't, be, following a natural disaster.
That would be nice. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
get all the people up there,
Yeah.
throngs of people. Should be fun.
See you,
But
film
what
lovers.
we're gonna do today, even though that was current events, we're gonna get in the time machine. We're gonna talk about the "Your Machinery is Too Much for Me" compilation.
Relatable statements.
So, for anyone who's been following along, this is episode 8 of the Record Revolutions podcast. And preceding this, we had done a few CDs with the label. We'd done a few 7-inch records. Um, and so it was time to do one where, okay, now that we have the means to do this, what can we do? So what we did was we brought together a few bands that each ponied up a couple of $100 so that one person or another didn't have to cough up the, $3,000 or whatever it was that took to produce the record. And each band got a track on there or two. I can't remember the exact specifics. And we set out to make this record. It came out on clear blue vinyl, which was
Hmm,
very beautiful.
sounds pretty.
Um, the intro and outro of this, and in fact the theme, the "Your Machinery is Too Much for Me," that specific title came from an Allen Ginsberg poem. And in the internet of the 90s, as it was, or I guess early 2000s at this point, I found an early recording, audio recording of Allen Ginsberg reading his poem where he says this line. The name of the poem escapes me at the moment, but we take that little excerpt where he says that line, we kind of chopped up the poem a little bit. That became the introduction to this record. And it was meant to not only talk about how there were frustrations that Ginsberg had in his time, and that they kind of, none of that went away. And we're still dealing with injustice, and we're still dealing with, the way government classifies drugs and the way the government, imprisons people. And there's all of that still there. So that was a little bit of it. But also it was almost like, but hopeful in that we're going to, despite all of that, exist and do the art that we want. And so it was kind of letting the listener know, you're going to see, you're going to hear a few things that don't necessarily match. It's on the one hand, it's whoever had $100 or, a couple $100, whatever it was. And so, bands who were making a name for themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the intro going into Introspect. Now, obviously, episode 1 of this podcast was the Introspect 7-inch. So this was coming full circle, getting them back onto another vinyl record. Almost a thank you, but also, hey, they ponied up the money, so they got a slot kind of thing. And this song is called See the End, and this was the 7-inch recording of this. So there are other albums that have this track on it, but they're newer recordings, if that makes sense. So here we go. This is the intro to the 7-inch, leading right into Introspect, See the End.
America, when will we end the human war?
America, when will we end
Go
the
fuck
human
yourself
war?
with your atom bomb.
Go fuck
I
yourself.
don't feel good. Don't bother me.
I don't feel
Your
good.
machinery is too much for me.
I won't write my
You
poem.
made me want to be a
like
saint.
mine.
There must be some other way
America,
to
I
settle
used to
this
be a
argument.
communist when I was a kid.
America,
I'm
I used to be a
sorry.
communist when I was a kid.
I
I'm not
smoke marijuana
sorry.
every chance I get.
I smoke marijuana every chance
Your
I
machinery
get.
is too much for
Your
me.
machinery is too much
You
for
made
me.
me want to be a saint. There must be some other way to settle this argument. Your machinery is too much for me.
The music you are about to hear has been recorded evenly between the left and right channels, and therefore it should be coming through both speakers or headphones. If not, adjust the balance control now. As a final check, this is the left channel. This is the right channel. Now, here are both channels.
Without alarm, destruction great. Suddenly takes accountability to see, and everything we say we stand for. Everything we hold, and this is just the beginning. Then, well, I don't think I ever want to see the end.
stunning. So that was the intro, and then See the End by Introspect.
And I did look up while we were listening to that. I went online. The poem is called America. So America by Allen Ginsberg. Go read that. Bits of that were in that song.
Oh man, what a beautiful pairing between. It's funny because based on the sounds that we heard, beautiful was such a weird like word choice, because it clearly wasn't designed to like be like it's a beautiful like a bouquet of flowers. I loved the like digital distortion of the reading of the poetry. I'm also hella impressed that you were able to find a performance or a reading of the poem by the poet during that time on the internet, because that was not
Wild.
an era where that shit was freely available at all. Especially given the nature of the poem and that particular line, "Your machinery is too much for me." The fact that it was available is really cool.
Yeah, how we found it, I'll never know.
It was destined, because it really was a beautiful lead in.
And thank you for saying you like the distortions. That was all me.
No, that
that was not brilliant. From the original recording. Yeah.
The way it echoed in, so you got that kind of digital decay. If we're going to go into the kind of the chorus of the song that it kind of bled into, I did like the right ear, left ear test, and then once you got into the like kind of binaural stuff, it started trolling with the beautiful like dissonant.
That was one of my favorite parts of that 7-inch, because, you know, I took that from an audiobook on CD, right? So it was an actual, hey, this is a 3D, you know, theater thing. So, you know, we're going to have things coming out of your left ear and your right ear. So let's do a test. This is coming out of your right ear. If you need to, flip the headphones, right? So I took kind of that stuff out.
That's awesome.
But there was that one moment where he goes, you know, this is from your left ear, this is from your right ear, and here's now from both ears. And that segued into it. But Dave Small, who mastered the 7-inch, he, who is, for those who might or might not be keeping up on these podcasts, is the singer of Introspect. He was the one who mastered it. So he kind of added that to it. I had this, you know, Allen Ginsberg thing, and then the, you know, here's the left ear, right ear. He added the guitar feedback to those. So this is the right ear, E, this is the left ear, E, and here are both ears, you know, and right into his song. Beautiful.
Stunning transition.
He could have been lazy about it, not done anything, and yet he was like, oh, but if I add this guitar feedback here and here, amazing. And, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he did it on purpose to troll everyone, but he actually does it backwards. So when the guy says, this is coming from your right ear, he's actually in the left. And this is from the right ear. He's in the... I don't know if that was trolling us. I don't know if that's, you know, it was another one of those, the machinery is breaking down. But, you know, it's Ginsberg saying how, you know, I might as well be this might as well be McCarthyism. You know, I was a communist, so now you're going to come get me and throw me in jail, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With the Introspect song, he says, everything we say we stand for and everything we hold dear. And if this is just the beginning, I don't think I ever want to see the end, because it looks like so much is slipping away like a tall tree as its roots. And then at the end, he says, big business is going to be the end of everything we thought we knew so well. And then again, big business is going to be the end of everything we thought we knew and loved.
Just a perfect pairing of poetry and music with more poetry, just from a different period.
Mm-hmm.
Stunning. We snap quietly. What's next, brother?
Let's go. So this next one, I'm actually going to throw it to you. Again, this is another compilation, so there's a lot of different songs on here. We had listened to Hitler in the Toy Store from No Erasers Allowed on a different podcast episode. The instrumental of that song is on here. You know, one of my bands, Kill the Scientist, we had a live show. A live track is on here. But I want to go back to, since we listened to Introspect, let's give some love to ESL. We had an entire
Yeah.
episode of them, but their song, they had 2 songs on here. And I'm gonna throw it to you. Do you want to hear the one that's more political, since that's kind of, the angle we've been taking so far with the intro and the introspect song, or would you like to go to one of the more melancholy love songs of theirs?
Well, I suppose I will go back to my operatic roots, as I am one to sing lots of depressing love songs.
Okay.
Let's go to maybe that one.
Perfect. So this heart-wrenching love song is called Nothing Else to Lose. And a little tidbit on this one. This was from they went into the studio, they recorded a bunch of songs. And some of it was used on a 7-inch record, and some of it was used on compilation albums, and some of it, 2 of them ended up on here. This one, they were about to nix it. They were going to just delete it from the, halls of history, because at some point, the drummer who we had talked about with the other release, their drummer Justin, the amazing god that he is, the little foot pedal thing broke for the bass drum.
No.
So he's hitting the bass drum, but nothing's hitting the drum. So that little stick piece fell off, and Dave Lingenfelter, he was like, no, I can't have, like, that kind of ruins the song. Like, you kind of need that bass drum. And I told him, I said, I love this song. I think it's beautiful. I think the backing vocals, which, me, him, and Jeff did the backing vocals on this, I think they're perfect. I think they're beautiful. I'm like, you can't not. And I was like, dude, and this is going to be on a clear green 7-inch. This is the year 2001. Who even listens to vinyl anymore, right? Like, the people who will be listening to this, they will not even know that there's a missing drum, piece to this masterful song. So this is ESL, Nothing Else to Lose.
I see the end, I see it come to, I see it's true. The end can be new, I see a wall, a block will come through. I see you leave, what I ain't gonna do. Every single fight doesn't matter anymore. Been a good friend who walked out the door. Got to a new place far away from here. Staring at a wall, wishing you were here. I hear a noise, bothering my ear. I hear a crash, yeah, then I see tear. I know you're gone, yeah, that is true. You left me here with nothing else to lose. Every single fight doesn't matter anymore. You've been a good friend, but walked out the door. Got to a new place, far away from here. Staring at a wall, wishing you were here. I see the end, I see it come to, I see it's true. The end from me and you, I see a wall, a block will come through. I see you leave, what are you gonna do? Every single fight doesn't matter anymore. You've been a good friend, but walked out the door. Got to a new place, far away from here. Staring at a wall, wishing you were here.
Dear Executive, paragraph. As a busy professional, you probably have little time to think, period. What do you say we meet tomorrow morning? ?
So I'm thinking one reason why possibly Coca-Cola decided to change the formula is humanitarian effort. Because because the Mexican police will no longer be able to use Coca-Cola to interrogate their prisoners. One technique to get prisoners to start saying things is to shake up a Coca-Cola and put it up the prisoner's nose. So I was just thinking that possibly with lower carbonation this won't work as well.
And that was the outro of Your Machinery is Too Much for Me.
I was not prepared. So ESL, Nothing Else to Lose, and the most like non sequitur outro that I was definitely not spiritually prepared for. Is it okay if I work backwards in my questioning?
Sure.
That outro. Where did we find the clip of the Coca-Cola up the nose?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of my personal music that I would consider my music, my art, is sound collage. It's sound collage art. And one of the most famous, one of the most prolific sound collage artists in the world is a band from the Bay Area, California called Negativland. Negative without an E. Negativland. Amazing. I mean, I don't know if these guys were disc jockeys and just had, you know, all this access to vinyl from, you know, the 50s to present or whatever it was, but these guys are amazing. They even have, and I'm going to have to share this with you, they have a song where they recut the Sound of Music song. Oh, the lightning song. What's that one? The
Goat Herd?
Favorite
Things.
Favorite Things. There you go. Oh my God. And they splice it to where it's really funny. Like all of a sudden she's like, oh, my favorite things, whipping little girls, my favorite things. Or like, it's insane. But anyway, so they do these things where they take things, and they've been taken into court so many times, you know, with highly publicized court proceedings of, hey, copyright infringement. And they're like, no, we're making something completely different. You know what I mean? And like, you can't even discern the original. So anyway, in one of their albums, which it's called something like Dyspepsy, something like that. It was an entire album of the fake Coca-Cola Pepsi wars, right? Because, and this might not be common knowledge, but like all the board of directors who are on Coca-Cola's board of directors are the same people that are on the board of directors for Pepsi. So it's like all...
Wait, stop.
Maybe not now, but it was in the 80s and the 90s. But it's all the same
during
people.
The Cola Wars?
The Cola Wars, hey, we're in the shopping center. We want to see which one do you think this is, Coke or Pepsi? The challenge, right? All fake. It was all designed to just get you to spend money. Anyway, so these guys did a whole album where they chopped up Coca-Cola commercials and all these things. And I don't know where they found, this was a clip from their album. And the only thing I only did two things to it. So I sampled their sample, sample. And so their sample was someone had called in to a radio show. Right. And so there's no real copyright there anyway. So,
no.
And so this crazy, you know, for back then, you know, tinfoil hat kind of guy was like, yeah, man. He's like, they're you know, the Coca-Cola punishment. And the guy's like, what? And he's like, yeah, you know, the new Coke has less carbonation, so they can't torture them anymore. And it was like, the guy's like, what? Anyway, so they had sampled this call-in radio thing. I sampled them, but because he's talking about torture in Mexico, at a job I had at that time, I got a free Ballet Folklorico album from Mexico.
Oh my God.
And so I sampled one of the songs on there that was just a super upbeat, like we're ready to party kind of thing, and placed that on this guy talking about Mexican torture. And that was the first thing I did to it. Just added that music. And then the second thing I did at the very end of his call, he said, you know, so I was just thinking it wouldn't work as well. I don't know why it was comical to me, but I duplicated I was just, so it's almost like he stutters, right? I made him stutter. So he goes, yeah, so I was just thinking it wouldn't work as well. And I don't know why that struck me as funny at the time, but that's all I did to it. I duplicated his 3, you know, words and then added the folklorico music behind it, and that was our outro. And it's called the outro is called the "Don't want no coke up my nose" outro. And I know people who bought the
Aptly named.
record and looked at the back, they were like, "Yeah, cocaine." No, no. We're talking about the new Coke with the less bubbles, bro.
Less bubbles. That was
Hopefully
so
that answered
beautifully.
your question.
It did. That was so beautifully edited, and that definitely gave
Thank
me
you.
like Fallout, like New Vegas flashbacks to the kind of like weird shit you would hear on the radios as you're walking through. You're like, wait,
Totally.
wait, wait a minute. What
Can we
did
go
they
back to
just
that?
say? Because it genuinely sounded like a weird interview, and I love the fact that there was like the sampling and the ballet folklore. It was just
And
chef's
then if
kiss,
you
that
remember,
combo.
it's the other thing that I sampled for the very beginning of that before it kicks into the mariachi
Oh, that's
music.
right. The like
So that
The
was kind of
job
like
bed.
a typing software.
Oh.
I don't know if it was Mavis Beacon or one of those. And so I put the CD-ROM on my computer and I was like, oh my God, if I open it this way, it's not the software, it's a bunch of folders. So I found the folder of audio, the voiceovers.
yes.
And there was that one. And so you're basically the software was listen to her and type what she's saying, dictation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was this one where she said, "Oh, you're a busy professional, so you probably have little time to answer, letters, but I wanted to write to you and whatever it was, period. Sincerely, And so I just deleted a bunch of stuff and made it, hi, CEO, you're a busy professional. You probably have little time to think, period.
Yes.
Anyway,
so
amalgamation. That was the kind of stuff I was doing.
So fun.
At that
so
age.
fun. Okay, back to the song. Nothing else to lose.
Yeah, she's leaving
I
him.
feel bad focusing on.
I see you walking away.
Right. I feel bad constantly focusing on the drummer, but even with the missing like bass drum and the lack of pedal, like still slayed.
Still slayed.
Just
Yeah.
absolutely slayed it. And you're right. The backing vocals were lovely.
Aw. The dudes are gonna love that you said that.
No, it's true. And yeah, I also wrote down staring at the wall, which is very much when you have a bad breakup, you find yourself just staring at the wall, wishing that they were there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And he nailed it. He nailed it with
Absolutely
those lyrics.
encapsulates the feeling of like.
So can you imagine they were going to shelve this song? Like, no, the drum
Terrible
pedal
idea.
fell off. It sucks. Horrible. Throw it away. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
no.
nobody would know because all the other drums were hit so many other times. Says the vocalist.
So quickly. Yeah. No, it didn't matter. It didn't, the kids who bought this record from the show, from the band, and then put that needle on the record, they didn't even notice. I know they had no idea. They enjoyed the song and then were like, what is this mariachi Coke thing?
Oh my God. That was a delightful surprise that I was not even remotely prepared for.
Well, and that's it. That's Your Machinery's Too Much for Me, the two songs we chose to listen to. Thanks for helping me pick that, Ashley. We could have gone with Song for Social Change, but you know what? If you're listening to this podcast and you're like, man, I'd rather have listened to well, then go. gcrecords.bandcamp.com. You can listen to the entire album. Album was released March 1, 2001. On our next episode, we're going to review the album Rise and Scream from the Southern California band As I. And so, if you read the band name and the album title on the back of the CD, you would read it as I Rise and Scream. Quite clever, quite fun. And coincidentally, also had the same drummer as ESL. Actually,
Nice.
when Justin left ESL, he joined, if I'm remembering correctly, he joined As I. So that'll be our next episode. Episode 9, and that album was released in April of the same year. So this will be fun. Until next time, this is Shahab signing off.
Catch you later. This is Ashley. Looking forward to it.
Bye.